Welcome back. You're watching Money, Money, Money. A natural disaster or calamity will strike without warning, and therefore it becomes imperative to be financially prepared for a situation like this at all times. Gaurav Mashruwala and Harshvardhan Roongta are two experts this week who are helping us do just this. So we've spoken a bit about giving it back to society. We've spoken about how you can prepare well in advance. But if a disaster were to strike, one already has the mental stress of having perhaps lost near and dear ones. We may not be using our mental provisions to its entirety. What are the steps that one can take now so that if a disaster were to strike, Gaurav, that things work like a well-oiled machinery?
So Contingency Fund is what we spoke about, and that's one. You need to have that. So one is that cash and certain amount of money in savings account and fixed deposit, because usually it takes about 90 days till you come to terms with these major scars that has happened and you start living a normal life. There could be instances where there could be support coming in terms of money coming from government or various places in terms of compensation and all. So that needs to be looked into, but that will take certain amount of time, because then your banks have to be operational, the money to come in, and you start utilizing, you start taking prudent decisions. But yes, that needs to be done. There will be a lot of instances where others will come and kind of help you stand up on your own feet. So in fact, that's more trickier. Because what will happen is that the aftermath, immediate reactions, support, rehabilitate, great. But thereafter you have to get back to normalcy. And that takes months and years. And that's why financial prudence in terms of my requirement, revise my goal, how do I invest the money that's come in, ensure that there is no wrong advice that's coming to me, ensure that I'm investing in a manner which is beneficial to me. All those things, change the titles if they are dead. So if it's jointly held policies or if they're jointly held accounts, ensure that the first applicant's name is deleted. All those things has to be done, should be done. It'll take a little time before you come to terms, but then life has to go on.
Yeah, that's true actually. And you've raised a very important point, which is the government compensation that may come in, because very often, many of these far-flung areas, people may be uneducated, not really aware of how that money should be utilized, or in some cases even invested. There may be some touts who might come in. So, how does a person like that actually use this compensation money?
Well, in case you're talking about a situation wherein compensation comes in and as announced by the government, the first thing is it comes in after a lag. It does not come in immediately. There are certain procedures to be followed. Their identity has to be established, because compensation is given out to the kin of the deceased. Now the whole idea is, how do you identify the kin of the deceased? So that you have to have procedures in place which weeds out all the kind of frauds that will possibly take care. So this takes time. It takes time before the money actually lands into the hands of the beneficiary. Then the question arises, how do you go about managing that money? So as of today, there is no formal methodology which basically is adopted, wherein the funds are also diverted into a bank FD or so. There's no formal methodology. However, there needs to be some kind of process in place wherein a city collector could be appointed as as an authority who would basically take a decision if the compensation needs to be paid out in absolute form in the hand of the kin of the beneficiary, or it could be going into a fixed deposit, the interest of which would be going to the beneficiaries. So I guess this is more of a policy decision on an rather than individual cases. Otherwise, yes, we would suggest that you need to possibly make yourself accessible to a financial planner who is more qualified. But I guess this is too much to delve into at this juncture.
Does claiming your insurance, etc., automatically kick in the affected areas?
Easier. So lot many times we have seen this, that insurance companies relax the rules, government encourages. In fact, I know that 26 July when it happened in Mumbai, RBI had given directive to banks that if people want certain amount of loan, ease the document process and release the funds immediately. So government does its bits. We have problems, government has its misses also, there is corruption, we know all those things, but there are also good things that government does, and couple of these things do come in.
So there will be disasters for sure, but I think we can certainly take heart from the fact that if it were to strike, one hopes that everybody around you, whether it's your family, friends, financial planners, the government, banks, local bodies, NGOs, that everybody actually rallies rallies around the people affected. Gaurav, Harshvardhan, thanks very much for joining in and being a part of our show. So that's about all we have for you this week. Thanks very much for watching. Viewers, do remember to keep writing to us at money@network18online.com. Let us know your feedback, and you can also find us on Twitter. Write to CNBC TV 18 News. Use the hashtag money, and do remember to also log on to YouTube to catch this episode. With that, we'll wrap up. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next week.